Okay, my name is Beth Drucker. Kim Stone is my colleague with Go Green Illinois. This is our 77th meeting, and the topic is the new climate education bill in Illinois and sustainability leadership in our schools. We're going to learn how to engage your schools in climate change education, sustainability planning, and environmental action. We're going to find out what are the important ways that you can get involved in this topic if you haven't already done so, and what you can learn from other communities and other school districts that have already started this process. We're really thrilled to have some fabulous speakers today. We're going to have Katie Nahrwold, who's the Illinois State Lead. She's going to tell us all about the new climate education bill that impacts every single one of our public schools, and Subject to Climate, which has come up with a solution for that curriculum piece. We're going to hear from Chris Johnson, Associate Superintendent of New Trier High School, who has led an effort to create a district-wide sustainability framework at his high school. Karen Bireta is a district sustainability coordinator at Evanston Skokie District 65. We'll hear from Mediha Abat from the Wheeling High School, who is a sustainability faculty member, but also has attended the Green Schools Conference. We'll hear from Jenny Futterman with Go Green Highland Park about how she has helped her school district go towards zero waste practices. And we're going to finish up with Phoebe Beierle. She's the Senior Manager of Programs for the Center for Green Schools. That is an amazing resource for all of us. And so and then we'll have Q&A, some community sharing, and we will end at 2:30. So thank you very, very much for being here. With that, I'm going to introduce Katie Nahrwold. Thank you, Katie.
Thanks, Beth. Right. All right. Okay, screen good? Okay.
Yes, it looks great.
Great. Hang on. All right, so as Beth mentioned, I'm Katie Nahrwold. I am the state lead for the Illinois Climate Education Hub with Subject to Climate. I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a minute. I'm also the founder of Go Green Kenilworth, founder of Go Green Illinois Schools, which I'll tell you about at the very end, and also a canine educator. I left the classroom in 2021, but continue to share my passions about education and the environment. So I am going to quickly, so I'm going to discuss the climate education bill. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the Climate Education Hub. I'm going to let you know kind of how you can help, and end with a little bit on Go Green Illinois Schools. So I am not going to pretend to be an expert on this legislation. I learned about it when it was written and passed, but I will share what I know. I would encourage you to do your own research, contact your schools, and learn more yourself. But in August of 2024, Illinois became the 5th state to introduce the climate education bill, which I found super exciting. 5 states is not many. New Jersey was the first, and with this, in the school year of 2026-2027, climate ed will be required to be taught in schools. So while that was signed, it is left unfunded. So we are really looking towards schools to kind of, put on their thinking caps and think about ways that they can integrate climate education K through 8, 9 through 12, so across grade levels as well as across subjects. So it's not just for the science teacher to tackle. We do know the next generation science standards has a lot of climate ed components, but we are, as the bill shares, which I'll show you on the next slide, this is really cross-curricular. So just here's some language that's from the bill. It talks about environmental and ecological solutions and impacts. So really looking towards that, like what's next, how do we act, aligning to state learning standards. And again, that this is something that the Board of Education will prepare and make available but funding is just not available to them right now. And I don't foresee that that's going to happen anytime soon. So, but that's what I know about the bill. I am in touch with schools that, it's on their radar. They're working together to find ways to, incorporate this into their classrooms and lessons. And I'm going to show you a little bit of what way some schools are going to be doing that. The Illinois Climate Education Hub was launched in September. September 5th was our launch date, and it has been a work in progress for, at least a year or more. Our goal is to connect teachers with resources that they need to feel confident and integrate climate education into every grade and subject. So again, that, K through 12 and that, interdisciplinary approach. This idea of a state hub really came upon subject to climate as a way to really make life easier for teachers. It's really user-friendly. It is a great way for educators to find what they need. Things are aligned to state standards, and I'm going to show you what that looks like as well. As a state lead, I am the kind of boots on the ground person for subject to climate, making connections, doing presentations, hopefully identifying some funding opportunities. We are the 8th state to have a state hub. So you can see the ones listed on the right that have already established their hubs. We have a great Midwest group. We have Wisconsin and Michigan that were launched about a year ago, which I feel really fortunate to have some Midwest partners. So I'm going to jump off of this screen, and it's gonna be a little awkward for a minute, and pull you into the site so you can see what I'm talking about. So this is the landing page for the Illinois Climate Education Hub. And you can learn more about the hub by clicking About Hub. And you can see that on the hub we have lessons, activities, units, teaching resources, professional development, news for students, and more. I would encourage you and educators to create an account. When you do that, you can create a library. So as you go through the site and you see lessons and units and news for students and things that you think apply to your curriculum, which you're already teaching, teachers can bookmark that and create their own libraries, which again, super user-friendly, really easy to access. At the top of the page, there are a variety of teaching materials, and one of these is teaching resources. Subject to Climate has, I'll pull over here, over 3,000 resources from our trusted partners that are accessible to teachers. Again, all grade levels, all subjects, and you can, break it down more by resource types. The national and Illinois standards, because we are a state hub, so things are aligned to our standards. And then you can see many, many languages. You can break it down more by providers and locations. Because we are a state hub, we are adding Illinois resources. So currently there's 75 place-based resources for Illinois educators. Again, as we gain more funding, hopefully we will be adding more and more resources here for educators. There is a universal search up here on the top, so teachers can type in anything that they're teaching, a subject, a topic, and it will sort right there for you. You can also find under teaching materials, lessons, units, and activities. These again are really user-friendly. The lessons are created with a inquiry-based model. So every lesson has inquire, investigate, and inspire. And everything that a teacher needs is here. The lesson plan, the PowerPoint that is all editable for a teacher so that they can make it their own, change anything that they need to. All of our lessons, all of our resources are chosen by teachers and researched by scientists. So everything is vetted and credible. I also wanted to show you that under educator support, there's a few options for teachers. There is professional development. There are 3 free courses. I would encourage everybody to take it, from educators to non-educators. They are self-paced, so you can take them as quickly or take as long as you want. You can start wherever you want, but it really goes back to kind of what is climate change? What what does that even mean? Why is that important? And then what is climate education? How do we teach it? How do we integrate it into, a health lesson, a English lesson? So really user-friendly, free. I really encourage people to kind of start there. And then again, we have currently right now 9 professional development that are offered in Illinois. You can see 2 that I'll mention at the end that I am teaching. And anybody can add to this. So if you know of some professional development coming up, please submit an opportunity. I will also highlight that here too, under teaching. I can't get that off here, sorry. Under teaching resources, you can also suggest resources there. What else do I want to highlight for you? There is News for Students, which is an amazing place for students to go and teachers. If teachers want to find an article for students, all they need to do is choose it, and then they can choose what grade level they teach. And then the whole article is, I'm making you dizzy here, I'm sorry. The whole article is created so it is appropriate for that grade level with the, vocabulary and the readability for that grade level. I want to show you climate change explainers for teachers that maybe need to refresh some of their background knowledge, or maybe they don't feel so confident about teaching something. They can again use this universal search bar and find topics that they want to learn more about before they teach them. And we also have guidance for school administrators. So lots of good things here for educators. And I am, here in Illinois, so I am always looking for new things to add to our platform, new ideas to support our educators. I'm going to go back to my presentation. And, whoops, no, I'm not in my, yes, maybe I am. Okay. Nope, I'm not. All right, here we go. Hopefully you can still see this. So these are the 2 upcoming professional developments that I'm teaching next week. So if you know an educator, I will drop all this into the chat. There's one that's on K-8, so it's kind of a deeper dive into everything I just showed you with examples for K-8 teachers, real, hands-on ways that they can incorporate this into their classrooms. And then there's also one for 9-12 teachers on November 19th. So I will again drop those in the link so that you can invite educators that you know, or maybe you are one. I will also drop into the chat when I'm done speaking communication packages, which again are a really easy way for you to kind of copy and paste emails to administrators, emails to teachers, emails to community members. There's, a video, there's a flyer. So lots of things that you can use to share out with your schools. There's also a student communication package for students to be able to share this with their teachers. I will drop in the chat, but you can also scan the QR code, information about our newsletter and ways to stay connected with us. And lastly, as mentioned, I am the founder of Go Green Illinois Schools, which we kind of started that grassroots initiative in October of 2011. It was dormant for a little bit post-pandemic, but we are up and going again, thanks to New Trier High School. Chris Johnson, who's going to speak to you in a little bit, they hosted our fall meeting at their Northfield campus, and we learned about project-based learning and their outdoor living labs. It was a really wonderful meeting, a mix of educators and community members at New Trier pre-snow. So we are looking for additional hosts. We always try to kind of host a fall, winter, and a spring meeting to really highlight what a school is doing and share that best practice with each other in a school, seeing what people are doing. So if you know of a school or you are a school and you want to host a meeting, please contact me, at any of my various emails. Yeah, so that is that. And I think hopefully I got in under 15 minutes and there's time for a couple of questions.
Awesome. So Katie, that was great. Could you make it super clear to everyone, what is the cost of accessing this curriculum?
Thanks, Beth. Great question. I'm sorry, I should have probably led with that. It's free. Everything on the Illinois Climate Education Hub and Subject to Climate website is free. Everything is available to educators. There are no costs at all. The three modules I showed you about teaching climate ed and what that means, they're free. The only thing that there might be a cost for is under professional development when we list things that are happening in the area. There could be a Chicago Botanic Gardens class or something like that. There could be a cost too, but none of the materials that we put out there there's any cost.
How does Subject to Climate provide it for free?
Funding from, foundations, private donors, grants. So again, if anybody has ideas, please send them my way. We had enough funding to, fund my position as well as get the 75 resources and get the hub up and running. But until we receive more funding, our goal really is to have more Illinois educators involved so that they can publish their own lessons and we can have lessons that are created by our educators on our hub. So that takes dollars and always open to ideas. And we do have some partnerships with the universities. So we have some creative ways that we're hoping to do that, but we are always looking for additional funding.
Great. Kim, could you check the chat? I forgot to say, if you have any questions, put it in the chat and Kim can look at the chat and ask the questions for you. One other question. This is an amazing resource. And you can imagine that if it didn't exist, how would schools even begin to provide this kind of education? And I also have to say, little did you know when you started a recycling program at your one school district that it would lead you to this position. We all benefit from years of your knowledge and expertise, and you are right where you should be right now.
Thanks, Beth. I will drop a couple things in the chat. I do see some questions about can people suggest resources, lesson plans? Absolutely. I think I showed you that that bar at the top where it says suggest a resource. So please go ahead and do that. Just know that that takes funding, right? So it takes a lot of work from our team to get things up on the platform. If we want to have Illinois educators publish their lessons, that takes dollars. So again, we're saving and curating and reviewing all the resources that come in, but we do need more dollars to make that happen.
So, Katie, you've showed a way for individual teachers to tap in to look at the curriculum that they might need. How would a school-based sustainability staff member help coordinate the effort if there was a position like that in a school district?
That's a great idea. I mean, I think that what I would recommend is that, with administration support, really looking at what you're already doing, because my guess is a lot of schools are doing really great things. They're taking to schools, into their gardens. They're learning about climate. They're learning about being good stewards of the earth, which would be civics and social studies. So my recommendation would be to kind of just see what are you doing, a simple survey to all your teachers. And then kind of find out where the holes are and finding ways that you can integrate lessons. There's just, there's so many possibilities, right? Just from planting a garden, right? How big is the garden? There's all the math that can go behind that. Why are we planting the garden? Who can come to our garden? So there's lots of ways to integrate that into kind of all lessons, but I would kind of start with like, what are you already doing? And where do we need to support some of that?
Great. Kim, were there other questions that we should ask before we sign off?
Yeah, there are a couple questions.
Okay.
Do you have to be teaching in a school or can community educators use the resources? And let me just ask them all sort of together.
Okay.
Can you explain a little bit more about the resources that may have been answered? And how can a local Go Green group be involved in getting your school to use the resources?
And we have like a minute or two for you to finish up.
So yes, the site is available to everybody, anyone. I can see I've already shared personally some of the materials with like even our church's green team and our youth ministry. And I think there's a lot of great ideas out there. There's these teaching guides that have kind of a whole unit, and there's one on mental health, which I think is personally really interesting to me about climate anxiety and how we can turn that climate anxiety into climate action. So yes, available to everybody. You don't have to be a teacher, don't have to pay anything. I would say the way people can help is to just really spread the word. I'm going to put in these communication packages And I think I'll just put in the Illinois one that is not the student one. But if you open up that that communication package, you can see emails already crafted for you. You'll find our flyer, so you could just kind of take that, edit it as you like, and say, hey teacher, hey administrator, do you know about this? Do you know that this is happening? There's some language in there about the bill, and again, about how to access all these free materials.
Great.
Great.
Thank you, Katie.
Thank
I
you
just want
so
to
much.
highlight what Dave has put in the chat to sort of build on what Katie just said. The teachers are teaching right now. So send the recording to them, send these materials to them. They don't know that we're here necessarily.
Yeah, and
So-
the two PDs I'm leading next week are after school, and I can do more of those. I can do basic walkthrough of the hubs. So if administrators want me to come into a PD day or offer something after school, I can absolutely do that too.
Awesome. Great. Thank you so much, Katie. That was terrific. We are recording this webinar and it will be posted by tomorrow on the YouTube channel for Go Green Illinois. And what we'll have is the time that each speaker starts. Hopefully, ideally, you can send the link maybe to the head of your curriculum, maybe a school board member, maybe a superintendent, or all of the above, and just say, this is information we think would be useful. And then Katie, thank you for your offer to work directly with the school district about that. So thank you very much. Now we are shifting just a bit because now we're going to be talking about how school districts are doing sustainability planning that goes beyond curriculum. And so with that, we're going to start with Chris Johnson, who's the Associate Superintendent of New Trier High School. And he is going to talk about their district-wide sustainability framework. So thank you very much. And we will start with Mr. Johnson. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Great to see everyone. And I'm going to put up my slides. Just give me a second. Can people see those?
Yes.
Awesome. Hold on. Let me just get my screen set here.
And remember, as he does that, if you have specific questions, please put them in the chat and Kim will monitor those.
Great. Well, great. Thanks, Beth. And great to see everyone and welcome. Looking forward to sharing a little bit about our sustainability journey at New Trier. So those of you not familiar with New Trier, we are a 2 high school district located just north of Chicago. So we have a freshman campus and we have a sophomore, junior, senior campus you see pictured on the slide here. And we also have a transition center for 18 to 22-year-olds who qualify for transition services located in Glencoe. 3,600 students, I think I mentioned about 800 staff members, and really a comprehensive program in a school that's committed, I think, to sustainability work. Facilities that are in parts very new and that are upgraded with the latest technology, and in parts that are very old and requiring significant renovation to improve systems and improve sustainability. In my role at New Trier, I currently serve as the Deputy Superintendent, and I help coordinate our sustainability work across the institution with a variety of colleagues in our physical plant services department, curricular areas, other areas. So what I'm going to do is go over a little bit about how we developed our sustainability framework, which culminated in a presentation to our board in June 2025. And go through that process. So we talked to our board about when we did this, the importance of sustainability, how it fit into our strategic planning process. We have a strategic planning process, and it was important for us to think about how the sustainability work could be incorporated into that. Talk about a little bit about our vision statement and purpose we developed, what the framework areas are, and some concluding thoughts. And throughout this, I'll have some pictures of a session we did where we brought together students, teachers, parents, facility staff to talk about sustainability topics. So that's one of the pictures of that session you see there on the right, which I think was a great way to bring people together to brainstorm about different ideas. So during that board presentation, we really wanted the student voice represented. And we had students involved in developing our sustainability plan, and they talked about different aspects of their work, their commitment to sustainability. And we started off with a student who really talked about the importance of environmental work from the lens of being a student. And when we're talking to our community and our board, nothing is more convincing than hearing directly from students. And then also developing that leadership capacity in kids, right, to be able to participate in a group with adults to develop a plan to present in front of our board. And so we had a student who spoke very eloquently about her role there. And then we talked a little bit about our New Trier strategic planning process and our history of environmental framework. We're proud of all the work we had done up until this point. We had a student curricular impact. We did a survey of all our academic departments. In a high school, we're organized by academic departments. So we have English, math, social studies, and we looked and saw what they had done in terms of sustainability work in all those departments just organically. And just amazing work thinking about in the language area, how you're not just learning the language, but you're talking about environmental and sustainability topics in the country of origin from that language. Through discussions in social studies about resource conservation, conflict that develops over sustainable topics. And we've implemented all kinds of different programs with students through our environmental club. We talked also about the sustainability work we've done from a facilities perspective. That's really behind the scenes, and I'll share more about that in a second. We have 2 LEED certified wings of our major campus, and we've invested significant resources. Picture there, you have students in a binary heart club we developed. This was a student-led club. It's been around for 7 or 8 years. They actually recycle old technology, and they provide it to low-income families who need access to technology. So that's a great way to achieve sustainability goals and community service goals. And it's really a student-led organization. They drive that organization and that work. We started composting at the prompting of some people on this call about 10 or 15 years ago. We were doing it really from in a back of house way. We were doing recycling, but we really hadn't done it from a student perspective. And it actually began in some of our elementary schools, which are sort of governed and run separately. And they said, these students are learning in elementary school how to use sustainable practices, including composting. What can you do at the high school? So we worked on implementing composting at our high school. That's one of our accomplishments that we're continuing. Demolition of inefficient systems. So we tore down a 1920s gym and boiler house. You can see the old steam boilers. We made a conscious decision before that to make sure that areas of the campus we were renovating had more modern heating and cooling systems, and that the only thing left was this old gym. So then when we tore that down, we had significant energy savings, sustainability savings, and we actually had a significant amount of these materials from the building recycled. High percentage, in the 80s or 90s percentage of materials recycled. Solar, we've implemented solar on both of our campuses. That's been a huge benefit for us, both for a cost saving, but also a learning perspective. One of the things our teachers are doing this year is they're actually getting the raw data from that solar, and they're starting to incorporate it into lessons in math and science and other classes. So the students can have access to this data, and they can do their own analysis of the power that's generated by our solar systems. EV charging stations, again, it's a visible demonstration of our values to our community, to our teachers. We now have, out of those 800 staff members, we have about 70 that have an EV registered with the district. And when you think about someone's choice to buy a car, whether it's a gas-powered or an EV, having charging at the workplace is a big part of that. And then we're also demonstrating those values to the community and our students. It's open to parents. One of the areas we're most proud of is our greenhouse. Our special needs students work with their teachers on learning some life skills in the greenhouse and actually doing plant sales. So that's something we did. This year, we're adding a rainwater collection system so we can actually collect rainwater to use to automate the watering process and not take from our village water system. The framework was developed in concert with different organizations, but I'd be remiss not to mention all of the wonderful support we've had from Beth, from Liz, from Katie, from the whole Go Green team for the villages that make up the New Trier district. So Winnetka has a Go Green group, Wilmette has a Go Green group, Kenilworth, Northfield. So all the communities that serve us have their local Go Green groups. They're represented on a district environmental committee, and it's a wonderful exchange of ideas. So the framework was developed with input from those groups. We use best practices from local, state, and national organizations. And I mentioned we had a design thinking brainstorming session last April where we involved students, community members, administrators, facilities, and board members. They came together to really develop ideas in a collaborative way, and their vision was represented in the framework that we ultimately developed. So we had another student talk about the role of our existing student government structure and how it could be supporting our work. She talked about her role in the development of the plan and how important it is to have student government represented in that session. And you see them whiteboarding there behind you. Another example of some of our students working together with teachers and board members there. And the ultimate outcome was a sustainability framework with a vision and a purpose. I can send you these slides so you can post them with the materials. So we don't have to read all the details, but we really wanted a vision statement that guided us, a purpose statement about why this work is important, why the curricular work is important, why educating students for their life beyond New Trier to be considering these topics is so important. It's not just the back of house systems we do now, it's instilling this knowledge with students. So as they go on to their time beyond New Trier, they're really thinking of these topics. The framework is divided into 7 different areas you see listed there. So we have those various areas: environmental and sustainability education, I mentioned, energy efficient facilities. I shared some examples of what we've done there. We have waste reduction and resource conservation. Thinking about the immense amount of consumables a school uses. How can we, in a school with 4,000 students, 800 staff members, think about the waste we generate, the resources we use, try to reduce those, reduced environmental impact and costs, thinking about the procurement practices, and how do we make a decision? We were talking a little bit earlier before we got started about EVs and, thinking about the vehicles the district buys. Are we willing to pay a premium for an EV? Thinking about the total cost of ownership, thinking about the values that demonstrates to our kids and our community. And coming down as the answer is yes, when possible for vehicles that can be EV. Talking about our food practices, we have an outside food service vendor, but introducing those conversations with the food service vendor about sustainable practices in the procurement of food they're selling, how it's grown, and then how to talk to students about that, because students are looking for choices that are healthy. They're looking for sustainable food service options in our cafeterias. Community partnership, as I mentioned before, that Go Green group, the local Go Green groups have been just a tremendous resource for us, bringing us materials and frankly holding us accountable and making sure that we keep the discussion going in terms of our environmental work at New Trier. And then governance and metrics, how do we establish a method for periodically assessing our progress and identifying areas for growth? So those are the areas that are encompassed in our sustainability framework. Again, we had more student input, talking about the role of student council. And, one of the things that I think is most important in this student identified is that you can use existing structures within your organization. And so our student government is a robust group that's tackling topics all over the school. They are in the process of adding a sustainability coordinator, student coordinator, or rep to their group. So how can we work with existing groups that already exist in schools to think about how their mission can include sustainability? And I'm pleased to see our student council has moved in that direction. So we really are proud of the environmental work that we've done at New Trier. We've had significant accomplishments. We know there's more to do. And we're thinking about what the goals for the next 5 years are, the next 10 years. The foundation we developed will allow us to continue to set goals and make progress, continue to report on a regular basis, provide a visible and enduring commitment to this work that our board can be proud of, our students and our staff. And we adopted the framework by having our board adopt a resolution, which was a positive time for the board to go on record of the 7-0 vote that they support this work. As they guide our institution, they support this work. And that's important for our teachers to know that, for our community who elected our boards to know that, and for our students to know that. So I'll talk a little bit about what we're doing in the future. I mentioned the rainwater collection before we get to questions. We actually just in the past month just jumped into a project to replace motors, behind the scenes motors, to power our heating and cooling system at our 1960s Northfield campus. Amazing incentives from ComEd. We have CDAC, the Center for Design, Efficient Design. Forget the total acronym at the University of Illinois. They are on site doing a 4-day assessment of our facilities, looking at things we can do to fine tune our systems to reduce energy consumption. We're looking at curricular projects in terms of that solar data. Our math and our statistics teachers, our science teachers are diving into that right now. We continue to meet with our Go Green groups. We have a teacher professional development group focused this year on sustainability in the curriculum. So we give our teachers some autonomy for portions of their professional development, and they can pick a group they're involved in. So about 15 to 20 teachers have signed up to be in a professional development cohort that meets once a month throughout the year, thinking about sustainability in the curriculum. So it's wonderful that those teachers have chosen to do that. They're developing resources for their own classrooms, but also for their colleagues. And they're really leading the way there. And it's wonderful to see the teachers from different departments come together to talk about, the connections between their content areas. So we've invested in that. They're doing wonderful work. And we're just continuing to think about how everything we're doing we can continue, and what new ideas are out there, and how this framework we've developed can be a foundation for us to continue to grow into the future. So happy to talk about any questions you may have, answer any questions. I'm curious about any ideas from people at other schools on the call. What have you done at your schools that has been successful?
Thank you, Chris. It's so great to get that report and to see the amount of time that you have put into this framework. It's really tremendous. For all of you who are listening, one of the things that's great about this field is that people are really, really collaborative. And Chris, I'm sure that you'd be okay for people to look at all of your information, contact you probably, and perhaps borrow some of your wording. You've put years into this. And so we encourage all the people in the Go Green groups to make sure that people in your school district know about it. Chris, I do have a question. How do you see this information getting to other school districts in our area, or all over the state of Illinois for that matter?
Yeah, that's a great question, Beth. Thanks to what you said about sharing information. We're happy. People can copy anything we've done word for word. When I was starting this, I had read an article about the high school district in Evanston, District 202, and their sustainability framework. So the first thing I did was email my colleague there. I said, "Can you send it to me?" And I had a reply within an hour, because it's wonderful being in education where you have people like Katie developing resources that they'll share, where other schools are developing resources, and we're working together to lift each other up and share this information, rather than us being private companies where we're trying to protect trade secrets. We know that sharing this information is really important. So we have different groups, Beth, that network. And so the superintendents get together, the people who lead school business and operations get together, the curricular leaders. So what we're trying to do is think about how sustainability topics are incorporated in agendas on those meetings, so that they can share ideas with each other about an interesting curricular concept, something they did to their facility, how they worked with their community on a particular topic. So there's great networks that exist. They're virtual networks, they're in-person networks. And how do we just make sure that sustainability is one of the many items on those lists? And, for us, that hosting that Go Green group recently at Northfield, that was great, because our teacher professional development group was in the room, 15 teachers. It was one of their normal meetings. It happened to coincide when the Go Green group wanted to meet. And so they met together. So there were teachers from other schools, there were parents, their community members, and it was a wonderful exchange of ideas.
Awesome. Okay, this has been great. Thank you very, very much, Chris. You're free to sign off. Really appreciate your time. We are going to be hearing later at the last speaker is going to be talking about what's happening nationally to help make sure that this information is shared across the nation, especially at their Green Schools Conference. But the next thing, we're going to roll into a talk by Karen Bireta. She's with District 65, Evanston, Skokie. She is a full-time paid sustainability coordinator, and she's going to fly through her slides because we're already running late, but all this information is just too hard to cut off. Thank you very much to Chris and Katie for getting us started. And with that, we will start with Karen.
Thank you all so much, and it's great to be in community with you today. As Beth said, I'm Karen Bireta, Sustainability Coordinator for Evanston Skokie School District 65. Alrighty, just first a little bit about D65, if you're not familiar. By the acre, by the numbers, we've got over 6,000 students. We've got 18 school buildings plus a warehouse, and we are building a new school, Foster School. We're returning a neighborhood school to our Fifth Ward community. So this is a really exciting moment. We do serve early childhood, including Head Start, and we're a K-8 district. And then there's ETHS, Evanston Township High School, District 202, which does the high school portion. So there's a lot more if you want to learn like more quick facts about our district, but hopefully that just gives you a little snapshot. So what I wanted to focus on for today is our District 65 sustainability plan. We're really proud to call it Sustainable Schools, Healthy and Just Futures. And these are some of our students here. This is on the left, our Chute Middle School Green STEAM Club. And on the right is Amani, who earned the name Miss Compost in kindergarten for single-handedly teaching her entire kindergarten cohort how to compost and recycle during lunch. And she just took the initiative because she feels it's so important. And if we had more leaders like Amani, our world would continue to be so much better. So it's really great to spotlight our students and the amazing work that's happening in our district. So just an overview of what we've been up to last year. So we had the opportunity to build our first ever sustainability plan for our school district. So we started at the beginning of the year by building our process and our team. We really tried to embrace who else and a diverse pool of voices to help make our plan stronger. We then, from October to February, built our sustainability plan, including our vision, our areas of focus, goals, recommended strategies, community partners, and ways that we could implement the goals that we were setting. We then, in March of earlier this year, went out for feedback. We engaged with over 100 people in person, including staff and teachers unions, and even our cabinet level, like superintendent and assistant superintendents. We went out to parents and caregivers and community members as well. So we engaged with over 100 people in person. We then sent on our draft sustainability plan to over 270 people, and then received survey responses back. We then went and took all of that really incredible feedback to help strengthen and refine our plan. And then in April, earlier this year, we presented to our school board. We also introduced a policy revision for 70 resource conservation policy. It was an existing policy, so we were updating to align it to our sustainability plan. So that went really well. And now we're moving forward with the implementation. So we've published our sustainability plan, and we are really, I don't even want to say beginning, but we're continuing really incredible work that's happening here in District 65. We stand on the shoulders of many really dedicated and loved community members and parents and students and teachers. So it really is a joint effort of coming all together and just continuing this amazing work in District 65. So here's a little snapshot of our working group. These were the incredible people that teamed up with us last year. So we kicked off and we were meeting every 3 weeks. We did about 2-hour working sessions to develop our first sustainability plan. Our team, we really tried to embrace like a who else needs to be in this room to help strengthen this plan. So we had a variety of stakeholders. We had District 65 and 202 staff members. We had students. We had City of Evanston and Village of Skokie employees. And then we also had multiple local community-based organizations, including Climate Action Evanston here in Evanston, to really help us look at this from many different sides and many different opportunities. So just thank you to all those on our working group. It was a really incredible year. I think the plan was better because of so many diverse voices and perspectives. So we are celebrating our first D65 sustainability plan. We really view it as a holistic, district-wide enduring commitment to addressing climate change. And our school board, so we introduced our policy revisions in April, and then the process is the next board meeting, they will get approved. So we got the official approval on Cinco de Mayo, May 5th of this year. So our plan and our focus is around teaching and learning, around healthy environments, around sustainable operations, and transportation and mobility. I just wanted to ground in the vision of sustainability because this really is the heartbeat and the core of what we're driving towards, is that District 65 fosters social and ecological well-being through transformational policies, practices, and an actionable plan. Our students felt really strongly that we included the word actionable plan. So that was a really great refinement during this process. By promoting ethical decision-making regarding air, land, water, and all living beings within our community, we aim to cultivate learning environments that encourage living in a just and healthy ways for our students, our staff, families, and generations to come. When we dive in a little bit closer into our plan, these are the 4 categories of focus, but there's layers under that where we have goals and we have recommended strategies. So within teaching and learning, we have goals around pre-K to 8 sustainability and climate change education for our students. We have a goal around staff learning. So it's not just teaching our students, it's we as staff, we as grownups, what can we learn along this way? And then it's really exciting, our change-making opportunities. So these are ways that we can engage our students and our staff, and how can we make a positive impact right here in our schools and right here in our local communities. When we're looking at healthy environments, we have a goal around health and wellness and an indoor air quality plan. We have goals around facility performance. So when we're looking at designing new buildings, when we're looking at renovations, when we're looking at trying to reduce our site energy use intensity, these are all things that we have set in a goal for facility performance. And then for outdoor learning environments, we really want to encourage outdoor learning spaces and nature playgrounds on our school grounds. When we're looking at sustainable operations, this is a big chunk of the plan. So we tried to keep it to like 5, but we couldn't. There were just so many good ideas. So we have goals around climate and energy where we're reducing our carbon emissions. We have goals around reducing our water. We have a goal around bringing and increasing sustainably sourced food to our schools. We have a goal to reduce our food and our packaging waste. We have goals around reducing waste and circularity. So we're bringing in more reuse, we're bringing in more donations, we're bringing in more ways to give back, or do we even have to purchase these items to begin with? And then that dovetails into purchasing as well. So we're looking at what purchasing sustainable and environmental practices we can bring in. And then last but not least is transportation and mobility. So this is where we're looking at transportation directed by District 65. So we're looking at things like our district vehicle fleet. We're also looking at the school bus companies that we're contracting with, so trying to increase the number of electric school buses. We're also even looking at electric vehicles where they are transporting our students. So it might be cabs, it might be minivans, so trying to increase the number of electric vehicles transporting our students. And then sustainable modes of transportation. So this is where we want to both increase for students and for staff, sustainable modes that and how they get to and from our buildings. So things like walking and biking and public transport, maybe you're scootering and maybe you're bike busing. So we really, electric vehicles and carpooling, we really try to be inclusive with this, but this is a really great one and a really tremendous partnership opportunity, both for City of Evanston and Village of Skokie. So with that, I was told to keep it short, so I'm trying to keep it snappy for you all. We do have a link here to our sustainability plan if you'd love to dive in and learn more. It has multiple language translations and a beautiful PDF made in Canva that shows our whole sustainability plan. We've also got our sustainability website, so you can dive in and take a look, and then I would be more than happy to connect. Here's my email address. So thank you all so much for your time. I appreciate all of you.
Thank you, Karen. That was great. For those of you listening, if you haven't heard that your school district is doing things like District 65 and the Nutria High School School District, there's a good chance that perhaps they're not too far along this path. Thanks to Karen and Chris for indicating that there really is a role for community members to begin this process or assist in this process by sharing resources, setting up meetings, asking for a sustainability committee. If your school district doesn't have one, that's a really good step. So, Karen, you are a full-time paid employee in the school district. And as all of our school districts have budgeting challenges, I think it's really notable that your school district has funded your position and continues to fund it. You have a newsletter that we have a link to early on, a really great newsletter that can give you in one quick skim an idea of all the different issues that Karen oversees as the sustainability coordinator. So we thank you so much, Karen. Kim, were there any other questions for
Nope.
Karen? Okay, that's because your presentation was great. Thank you so much. Now we're going to hear from Mediha Abat. She teaches, started out as a physics teacher. Now she also teaches sustainability or environmental studies at the Wheeling High School. And she has been working with her school district to try to create a sustainability position. And as part of that, she and their head of operations traveled at district expense to attend the Green Schools Conference. So I wanted to pull Mediha in to give her 5 minutes to tell us about that experience. Thank you so much, Karen.
Hey.
Hello, everyone.
Oh, this is from yesterday.
Oh, nice.
I had already made my.
Oh, Mediha, your audio is not good.
I'll make sure.
It's not me. I think it is somebody else. Can
Okay,
you hear me
there
now?
we
I
go.
think Nicole may
yeah.
need to mute. There we go.
Yeah.
Okay, everyone's got to be
Okay,
muted.
so
Okay, there you go. You're pinned.
Hi guys. I'm between the classes, so I have very short time anyway. So I'm just gonna explain what I have been doing. As Beth said, my major is in physics. This is not my education, but a couple years ago, it was like 5-6 years ago, I was asked for teaching environmental science. And the first thing I did was contact two organizations. One of them is SWANK, which is Solid Waste Agency, North Cook County. And the other one is Prospect Heights Natural Resources. They both helped me a lot. Since then, almost everything I've done has been with the help of those two important environmental organizations. SWANK helped me to garbage audit project and even received grant funding from them. And then Prospect Heights Natural Resources helped me educate my students about native and invasive species, supported us creating 3 native gardens in our school ground. I also began attending Green School Conference, and I want to mention that my school has been incredibly supportive. They gave the professional leave and then fully reimbursed my travel expenses. From the very first day I started teaching environmental science, I began to building connection with building and ground supervisor, and she later got promoted the director of operation. So we already had that great working relationship. And then I invited her to the Green School Conference that I was attending, and we attended together the following year, and that made a huge difference. She saw firsthand what other schools were doing, and soon after, our district hired sustainability consultant for a year. And then together we started with some low-hanging fruits like upgrading LED lighting, and now we are in the process of earning Illinois Green School certification. My hope for the future is that our district will have a full-time sustainability director. As you may know, in schools, everyone has their own agenda, responsibilities. People change, staff retire, and students graduate. When sustainability is not dedicated responsibility, it is very easy to be overlooked. There are so many everyday decisions we made in the school that we can have long-term environmental impact, and someone needs to look at those decisions through the sustainability lens. I truly believe that if the district makes the investment, I will not only strengthen our environmental commitment, but also bring financial benefit in the long run. So sustainability is not just about protecting the planet, it is about creating smarter and efficient and resilient system. And school is one of the biggest system in our communities. That's all I have. If you have any questions, I can answer it.
Okay, thank you, Mediha. I was thrilled when you were able to attend the Green Schools Conference. Do you know when the date of that is this spring?
I don't know the exact date, but it
Okay.
should be in spring. I think it is in April.
Right. What did
I
your
can double
director,
check.
what did your director of operations think? What's something that she brought back that she wouldn't have known had she not attended the conference?
So actually that position is a huge position. It oversees all of the buildings. We are a big district. So that's why sustainability was not on her scope, because she is literally building stuff in the buildings during the summer, during the year. So sustainability, when I invited her to that green conference, and most of the people were not building director, they were sustainability director in their building. This was all around the country. So that made a difference of, oh, somebody wrote a green school conference is February 17 to 19 in San Diego. So that created actually the pause of, okay, somebody has to be responsible from sustainability. So they hire that contractor for a year, and then they extended to 2 years. We don't have them anymore, but they focused on how can we change the system. But because we don't have anybody else anymore, I'm not sure how much it is helping. But she's regularly going green conference. She's still going. Last year I didn't go. She still went all by herself because she saw the difference.
Awesome. That's great. Mediha, thank you. I could ask you question after question, but we're going to stay on with the agenda. And I know you've got a classroom to teach. So thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
One thing to point out is this is a school district that is sending their professionals to the Green Schools Conference. I don't know of many school districts that are, but it's an opportunity for every single school district in our group. The people that signed on for this represent 32 different communities. That's probably more than 32 different school districts. So we have an opportunity to take that message back to people. Okay, we are rolling it. We're now going to talk to Jenny Futterman, Go Green Highland Park. Like many of us, she started her sustainability work as a PTO volunteer. So Jenny, could you please tell us what's it like for a community member inside a school?
Yeah,
What were you
sure,
able to do?
certainly. Thanks for having me. I'm Jenny Futterman, and I am with Go Green Highland Park, and I'm also a District 112 and now District 113 parent. Like Beth said, I was just volunteering as a PTO volunteer. My principal already knew I was environmentally focused. I had started a couple different recycling programs. And in 2018, from a Go Green Illinois meeting, I heard about mindful waste and first learned about zero waste lunches. And serendipity, just, I was at the Go Green Illinois Schools meeting in February of 2019, and I met Susan Casey, who was with 7 Generations Ahead formerly, and she was looking for 2 Lake County schools to start zero waste lunchrooms. And so I said, count me in. I ran back to my principal. She helped me find a staff liaison. Like others have pointed out, like your kids ideally will graduate from the school and move on, and they don't really need parents hanging around. So to find that teacher who was going to be there was critical. And at the time, our custodian was very interested in the project as well, because he was taking out the trash every day, and he wanted to do more about it. So now we are in 5 of our 8 elementary and middle schools, and we have plans to continue adding as the schools are upgrading. They are trying to look at the lunchrooms to make sure we can have zero waste stations in every school. Our current food system does not serve all of our students right now. It's only our free and reduced lunch students. So they're also expanding our food service. So we're kind of striking while the iron's hot. So if they're going to be sending food around, we want to make sure it's going to be a little more sustainable. I am harassing them and making progress. So keep going. You could see, we're diverting over 80,000 pounds of waste per year from food recovery, composting, increased recycling, liquid dumping, things like that. I believe a great deal of our success is, we really, thanks to 7 Generations Ahead, had a lot of resources, and we're able to do a lot of education before our actual launch date. And we were educating students, kitchen staff, and faculty in English and Spanish, because we do also have some dual language schools in our district. So that was really, really helpful and impactful for us. So we launched our first schools in 2019, and we started in May. People said, it's the end of the year. You really going to do this? And we said, yeah, we are. So we did that, and it was really successful, and word got out. And other parents at other schools, other PTOs said, Jenny, come help us. We want it in our lunchroom. So we kept expanding. And, really, I think my success also was partly because I was still able to work with 7 Generations Ahead, and they came in and helped us do the lunchroom assessment. They helped us get an idea of where the setup would be. We were very fortunate to already have Lakeshore as our waste hauler for our district, and we had a few organics trucks coming through Highland Park and Highwood already. So we were able to get the organics pickup, the food pickup, and the operations director at the time was all in. He said, any school who signs up, we will pay for the waste hauling. Eventually got them to pay for all of the bags and other supplies. So after our launch date, 7 Generations Ahead gave us a beautiful write-up and showed all of the success of the day and the data of how much we could conserve and save over the course of the year. So we were eager to share that with parents and the district and the board members and community members, taxpayers, so they know, this is happening in our schools. We're saving money. We're educating students. There's a little shot here just kind of to give you an idea of our sorting stations and how we are able to divert so much. We have share tables for good food to go to hungry kids. There's dumping out liquids. We have increased the recycling to, in a lot of schools didn't even have recycling. They just had big trash bins wheeling around from table to table. So, every school is a little bit different. And especially we have old buildings and new buildings. So you get creative with your sorting lines. And I will say we just did a launch in a middle school that now has reusables, thanks to a new food service director. And Becky and I think SGA is on, and it was our easiest launch ever. The reusables in the line cut the sorting time down for kids tremendously. There's no more sauce packets. There's no more, there's a lot less single-use plastics. We have real silverware. I was thanked on launch day by a child for a real fork instead of a plastic fork. So that was great. So I would just recommend anyone who is trying to do this in your school, check out the lunchrooms, see what's going on, find out if there is a student group, a student environmental group, and talk to them, talk to a teacher who might be interested. Look for 7 Generations Ahead, look for Mindful Waste, find an organization that can give you some tools and help you convince your board members or principal or whoever might be unsure about the situation, and get some parent volunteers ready and just keep going and keep showing up to the board meetings. Because, I keep going and we are getting more reusables. It works. Keep showing up.
Okay,
And I think
awesome.
that's about all I need to share.
Yeah, Jenny, thank you so much. Becky Brodsky's been including a lot of resources in the chat. Becky is a rock star, and she is with 7 Generations Ahead. So there's huge numbers of resources. Also Go Green Illinois Schools. This is the kind of setup that Go Green Illinois schools would feature. You could go to another school and see how they actually solve problems on the ground. So make sure that you have somebody who's interested in this to check out Go Green Illinois Schools through Katie Nahrwold. I love the zero waste agent vets. I thought those were really great. Also, it is great that PTO helps with this, but I'm like a broken record in saying it has to be supported by the administration and the school district as well. So, you know, we need a system so that if Jenny Futterman moves away, these programs don't fall by the wayside. So with that, we're going to roll right into our final speaker, Phoebe Beierle. She's Senior Manager of Programs at the Center for Green Schools. She has been a resource for us for years. She is a national spokesperson, and she is going to finish up the presentation portion of our program. Thank you very much, Phoebe.
All right, thanks, Beth. I want to say that I am just honored to be invited to speak to you all today, and just like so inspired by all the work that's happening in Illinois from the state level to in the cafeteria. It really is inspiring. I wear a PTO mom hat, trying to green PTO mom hat, and it is hard work to make change on the ground. I get to work at the national level too with Becky and Karen and other leaders around the country. So it's great to hear some of these stories. So I'm here to talk a little bit about national resources. Maybe I can advance my slides. So the Center for Green Schools, we are really focused on supporting and training those implementing sustainability within school districts to be those change agents. So you heard from Karen Bireta earlier. Karen is one of those leaders that we support and her colleagues around the country. And they don't just have to be in sustainability roles. They can be zero waste roles, energy, chief financial officers, whoever. We're providing resources for them. One of the ways we do that is through these networks. So it's a free opportunity to come together in community. We provide fellowship programs. We provide the Green Schools Conference and a summit after the conference. So professional development support to share best practices like you all are doing here today, connect to resources, and move the needle on sustainability. We have sort of a regional and local programming network, which is really focused on indoor air quality management, which you'll hear a little bit more about in a second. And then we also support those sustainability champions who are usually single individuals in a large school district trying to push the ball up the hill. So we bring those folks together to provide support. So that's available. It's all free. If you are one of these people or you know of someone in your school district who represents this role, please don't hesitate to reach out. I will mention that we study this role. So we have actually studied since 2015 the role of these school district sustainability staff. We have a toolkit for how to hire them if you're interested, and I have staff time next year to focus. I've worked with Beth a little bit on this actually in Illinois, but I'm here to help support if your district or community wants to hire someone dedicated to this role. I am more than happy to get on the phone, talk with you about strategy around that, and maybe even work more closely next year together to get someone hired. So these slides will be shared out, but this is a link to sign up for our networks if you're interested. Okay, so at the national level, I'm going to share a couple of resources. We were fortunate to get a five-year grant from the EPA to address air pollution in schools. It is still flowing, and we hope that our grants officer is going to be back at work momentarily. This is focused on developing comprehensive indoor air quality management plans. That's a mouthful, but really focusing on helping school districts address indoor air quality. A lot of school districts have various pieces of a plan. Let's pull it all together and really think about it as a comprehensive approach. And we also have kind of a lens of how do you do that and also address energy efficiency, and how do you address energy efficiency without compromising air quality. These are the other grantees. So we are one of 5 grantees. The 3 in the bold at the top are working at the national level. So American Lung Association and Go Green Initiative, they are working with National School Board Association. It's a cool partnership to work and it's interesting. We are working at so Go Green Initiative is working with school board members to really push this work and air quality in schools. We're working at the district level, and the American Lung Association is working more at the school level. And this is a graphic that's kind of hard to see or read, but essentially we're all working towards the goal of more energy efficient air quality management plans in schools or districts across the country. And then you can see here on a list of resources and offerings. So some are providing actual assessments and model plans, scholarships or fellowships, which we'll provide next year, technical assistance, lots of training, etc. So it's it's a pretty cool program. And then if you're in Utah or New York, there's individual support for those states and a couple other states. So again, what we're offering, which I can speak a little bit more to, are local in-person trainings. Lisa Greenfield is our Midwest regional person. She's on vacation today, so she's not here, but I'm happy to connect her with anyone. So she's on the ground attending events, trying to talk with school districts, provide coaching to support, again, the development of a plan or training for staff. We will start a fellowship program starting next summer, so keep that in mind. That's a free opportunity for a year for staff to be connected with peers and coached by our staff, getting more specific resources. And I will point, like, there's a EPA Tools for Schools program, and there's a lot of resources out there. We took that and we took a scan of all the other districts around the country who might have an indoor air quality management plan. And we developed this pretty comprehensive toolkit where you can like grab, copy and paste actual language, policy language to meet your own needs on so many different topics, from radon to water access to school demolition and, waste management. So this is a really great resource on our website. And then again, this is flyer. So Lisa's face is here down here. I can get you her contact information. She's awesome. She's super nice. And she'd be happy to talk with anyone who's interested in this topic. She comes from the industry. Another resource that's not ours, but I think is important, right? We had a lot of resources on the funding level, the federal level, that just disappeared recently. Undaunted K-12 might be a name that you all recognize. If not, I highly recommend you check out their website, undauntedk12.org. If you go to their energy tax credit school hub, you can see they're tracking which schools and districts around the country have been able to leverage the Inflation Reduction Act funds for solar or geothermal battery storage projects. So geothermal funding still remains for schools as a direct pay tax incentive. Solar incentives are drying up very quickly, but if you have interest in any of this, I would just definitely go to Undaunted K-12 to take a look, and you can also learn about some of those projects. I know there's a lot of geothermal happening in Illinois, so that hopefully will continue to be money that's flowing to school districts. And then one other thing is that we know the Green Ribbon Schools program is a big deal for a lot of states, Illinois in particular. And I just wanted to recognize that there are a lot of nonprofits that came together this past year as the Department of Education kind of ghosted the program. They haven't cut the program entirely, but they have not staffed it or done any recognition. So we, as a community of nonprofits, Center for Green Schools led the effort, but we came together and funded banners to send to all the state winners. And we've been bringing together folks at Illinois Green Building Alliance to talk about how we support these schools going forward. So I just want to recognize that there were 3 honorees last year, and we have a website article on our website that celebrates these school winners. So we're trying to keep some of these things going despite the lack of focus at the federal level. And then we mentioned the Green Schools Conference earlier. So guys, I just landed in San Diego an hour ago. I'm in the hotel room at the hotel where we're going to be hosting this conference, and it is gorgeous. I'm looking at the ocean right now, and there's palm trees, and it's warm, and the kids are swimming in the pool. So if you are looking for a family vacation or a solo vacation to come hang out with your friends who care about green schools, do not hesitate. February 17th through the 19th. I know it's school break for some states, but we'll be gathering our community together for the Green Schools Conference. It's going to be awesome. Our program is online and registration, all those details are there. We also have making the case documents if you need to get that to your administration or leadership to make the case to attend. And then for those school district sustainability staff, we also host a leadership summit just after the conference that's invite only. It's completely free to attend. We pay for dinner and all the food, and that is a great time. And that's all I got for you.
All right, great.
Thank you,
Phoebe,
Beth.
thank you. Thank you so much. I just want to amplify making the case for the K-12 sustainability staff, super important tool. I know it helped with District 65. The Go Green initiative that you talk about has nothing to do with our Go Green group. Just
No.
wanted to make that clear.
Yep.
Good name though. I see there's a National School Board Association. Can you tell me whether that group is making any efforts to help school boards initiate sustainability work across the nation?
Yeah, I mean, the fact that they're partnering with the Go Green initiative to address, IAQ focus is a sign. We have not partnered with them super closely ever in the past, but I would say that there are, as an entity, I feel like the School Board Association and the school business officials, ASBO, those two communities tend to be somewhat focused on this topic. It shows up in their national conference programming. But I wouldn't say it's, they're often not super well attended sessions.
Okay, well, great. Phoebe, thank you so much. And thank you for sticking to the tight time. I know we could have had you on for a 2-hour program, but thank you very, very much. And good luck with whatever's happening in San Diego. Glad your flights weren't delayed. Kim, are there any other questions that you found in the Q&A, either for Phoebe or for any of our other speakers?
No, there's a lot of comments and there's a lot of links. So definitely check the chat out for those links if you're interested.
Okay. So again, Phoebe's been an incredible resource to us as we worked with District 39 in Wilmette. And we have done a lot of work. So if you are interested in reaching out to your school district, know that the most efficient way to do this is to help, share materials and to find out what other resources are available to you. So with that, Phoebe, thank you so much. And so I was happy to have this topic again. We only have 10 minutes before we're going to end, so we don't have a lot of time for community sharing. But I would encourage you, if you're not already working with your school district, to see what you can do to start the ball rolling in your school district. There are so many facilities, so many staff members, so many children, that if we can make progress in the school district, it really reflects well on the whole community. So now we're going to go into this very quick community sharing. Is there anyone, if in the Q&A, everyone's always very shy when we open up the mic, but we're going to unpin Phoebe, and is there anyone else who'd like to put your name in the chat, or better yet, put your yellow hand up for a quick report? We are going to sign off in 8 minutes because we promised we would. Sherry.
Okay, we have good news to report from Greener Glenview. Our village board during the budget workshops about 10 days ago agreed to continue funding our free food scrap drop-off composting program. We had gotten a grant to run the program for 12 weeks, which we did during the summer, and we didn't spend all the money that we received for the grant, so we were able to extend it a little further along. And then we asked people, if you really love this program and want to see it continue, then we need to crowdfund it. And we got enough money to fund it through the end of January. And so the village has agreed that beginning in February, they're taking over the program, and they're budgeting $10,000 for the year. So it's 2 locations, a total of 10 bins, and it's great news. This is the first time the village has actually done something in support of sustainability.
That's great. Thanks for your persistence. We'll also have community drop-off bins here in Wilmette. They were modeled after Skokie's and Winnetka's. It's a great example of how you can go to your town and say, this is what these other villages are doing. Why can't we do it as well? So next, Deb Singleton.
Hi there.
And then Dorothy Elfring, you had your hand up. You'll be next if you still have a comment.
I'm really grateful for all the input today because Go Green Deerfield is in the inaugural stages of working with District 109, our elementary school district, for their facilities renovations and rebuilds. So that's pretty exciting. Also, we have our first Go Green Drinks event, Wednesday, November 19th, from 6 to 8 p.m. at the Italian Kitchen in Deerfield. The speakers will be Amy and Chris Call, who are Lake County Forest Preserve stewards at Berkeley Prairie, and they will share the history of the preserve, how and why the prairie is managed. I love this. The challenges of working among hungry ticks and running deer, and the joys of finding and protecting rare plant species and making a difference in our area. And most importantly, how the public can help. So please feel free to come, grab some food and some drinks from that are great at the Italian Kitchen, and learn something. We'd love to have you come.
Great. And if your community has never done Go Green Drinks and you'd like to do it, I'm sure you could talk to Deb Singleton or just go to Green Drinks. It's a national organization that you can tap into to have community-based events. They make it easy. So next, thank you, Deb. Bruce, please tell people where you're from.
Downers Grove, called Greener Grove, the organization. Last night we had a strategic planning session. It happens about once a year. And I just want to mention one thing that we're building upon. The idea, let's not just focus on what we need to expand, what's already going well that we can build further. And one of the things that we're thrilled about is the degree to which our village council, our village government, has really embraced the whole Go Green movement. They have it built into a lot of their new strategic plans for the village. In a lot of the publicity for the village, the Greener Grove organization gets a lot of mention and credit. And I know I've mentioned this before, but luckily about a year ago, the village also hired a sustainability coordinator as a village staff member. And now there's just great relationship back and forth all the time with this staff member and Greener Grove. That's it.
Thanks. It is a game changer. When your community has a paid sustainability coordinator, it is a game changer. So don't stop pushing for that position. Okay, we have people from dozens and dozens of communities. We have 4 minutes left, minute apiece. Anyone else want to mention anything, or else you're gonna have to listen to me and Kim? Speakers, any last thoughts of speakers who thought, oh gosh, I forgot to say this or that? There's your chance. Put your little yellow hand up so we can see it.
Beth, I will unmute. I did forget to mention that we do have a scholarship open for the Green Schools Conference. And so that is it doesn't pay for travel, but it pays for the registration fees for the conference. So you can find that on our website, which we link to in the chat. But that is, if you represent a community or a school, that is definitely an opportunity to try to get to San Diego for a cheaper cost.
Great, thank you. Hey, if your community has an electric school bus, would you put it in the chat? I'm curious. Okay, Deb and Bruce have more thoughts. Deb, real quickly. You're on mute, so you're.
No,
Okay.
I just forgot to take my hand down. Sorry.
Oh, okay, Bruce. Did you forget to put your hand down?
Yeah, you said, is there anything else? And I just one wild idea we had last night at our planning is, what if we had a speaker who was a student or a few students, and what they're up to and what they wish we would do? That's it.
Awesome. One thing that I want to amplify that Chris Johnson said, and we think super important, is if every single student council, whether that's middle school, junior high, or senior high, had a permanent student sustainability leader as one of their positions, so president, vice president, student sustainability leader, it would be also a game changer. And I think it'd be a position that kids would compete to take. It would be quite an honor and could really, really make a difference. And so that's something that we're pushing here in Wilmette and at Neutra High School. Okay, so our next meeting is
January
go-
13th.
January 13th, and the topic is going to be toxins or unhealthy things in our community. We don't tend to talk about health issues, but so many of these overlap. Some of those issues are pesticides in our communities, the use of coal tar sealants. There's all kinds of issues. So we're going to be developing that thought idea. And Kim and I really appreciate when anyone sends ideas for us, because that helps us build out a really good program. If you enjoyed this program, remember it's going to be recorded. The more people we can get to watch this program, the more we'll move ahead. So with that, thank you for being part of the Go Green Illinois community. Kim and I are going to stay on. We're going to adjourn formally now, but Kim and I are going to stay on for some informal discussions. And Dave, we want to ask you about battery storage for big school districts. So Dave Wilms is someone we wanted to hear about that. So we are officially adjourned. Thank you so much for spending an hour and a half with us. And we look forward, there'll be a small leaders meeting in December, and we look forward to have our larger meeting in January with all of you. Thank you. So Dave, what about, do you know of a school district that has big battery storage?
Do you want to stop the recording, or
Thank you, yes.
or do you want this on the recording?
No. Oh, here we go, okay.